Good evening and welcome to Growing Up Strong. This is the show that's dedicated to helping you and your family grow up healthy, safe, and strong. Tonight, we're focusing on accidents, those ones that happen in your home that are very preventable. My guests tonight are experts in the field. You're going to love what they have to share. Joining me this evening is the Honorable Ann Brown, the former chairman of the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. Welcome. Good. And Kelly Powell, who's here locally, the director of Safe Kids. Thank you both for joining us.
Glad to be here.
And Ann, you certainly have a vast knowledge of all of the topics we're going to touch on this evening. Preventable injuries, though, is something I wanted to start with because you sent me the information and I was shocked that that's the #1 killer of children and teens in the U.S. today.
It's a sad situation that we have made so little progress. And safety needs to really be a three-legged stool. The government, the consumer, those are the parents, and of course all the rest of us, and the business community. And we all need to be working very hard to keep our kids safe. There's nothing more precious to us than our children.
And when you were chairing the Consumer Product Safety Commission, that was under the Clinton administration, am I right?
Correct.
So we've come a couple decades since then.
Yes, I've gotten a few decades older.
No, but have you seen, because of technology, information highway, have you seen that information's out there and parents are a little more knowledgeable?
I think parents are much more knowledgeable, much more aware. But don't forget, there are still a lot of problems. And the technology also brings its own set of problems. We see automobiles that can have something on the back of them so that parents won't back into a child. But the industry likes to sell that as an extra. It should be on every car, mandated on every car. It should be on every lawnmower, all the electric lawnmowers. Oh, yeah. You're wearing those earphones so you can't hear anything. Your child runs out of the house, and there have been terrible back-over accidents. So what we need to do is to make technology commensurate with our safety concerns.
And Kelly, you're over this locally, so do you echo kind of some of Ann's concerns about parents just really being even more aware because the pace of life today is crazy?
Absolutely. The pace of life is incredible and people are so overwhelmed. And for example, the whole issue of children being left in a hot car, and everyone you talk to would say, I would never do that. And most of the parents that do it are typical parents that are just going through their daily routine and they're so overwhelmed. Their computer chips are full. The other issue is every day a new baby's born. We have new parents coming into this. So even though the information has been out there for years, it's new for this parent. In Palm Beach County, we have over 10,000 babies born a year.
Wow.
So you think about as soon as we've educated one group of parents, all of a sudden we have a whole new group we need to work with.
And I know in the past we saw a lot about medicine cabinets, and they have the child safety tops. Both of you speak on it. Has that helped in, accidental poisoning? Is there more we should be doing?
Child-resistant caps are terrific, and for older people too. I want to talk about the grandparents who have to be reintroduced to safety. It's been some time since they've had to. And as we have Christmas coming and all the grandkids coming down, it's the time to be aware of safety. Child-resistant caps are important, but you have to lock that medicine chest. Knives are always dangerous. You have to lock that door in the kitchen. You should even have a lock on your toilets. Kids can drown in toilets. There are so many things to be aware of, but it isn't just a matter of the parents, I don't think, or of the caregivers. You have to also know that the industry has to make safe things, and the government has to regulate what they can in safety. It's very important. I had somebody, though, come up to me one time and say, you've got to do something about escalators. My kids' shoelaces are getting tied. I said, how about if you tie your kids' shoelaces before you go on the escalator? A lot of it is parental responsibility, but not completely. We don't want to throw the whole burden on the parent or grandparent.
And you mentioned business. Kelly, you told me before going on the air about bigger and better TVs. We all see them. Yeah. We know the holidays mean, the 80-inch screen isn't big enough. I'm going for the 96. You shared a shocking statistic or information with me. Share that with our viewers.
Actually, a child dies from a TV tip over every 3 weeks. And unfortunately, in Palm Beach County last year, we had 4 children that we lost due to TV tip over.
That is, I mean, when
yeah.
you say that, it's a TV that's not secure.
Correct. So if you have a large TV, people think it's only the new TVs that are the flat screen.
Right.
But if you have a large older TV, you need to put it on a console that's low to the ground. Children climb. So if you have a high entertainment center, the child's climbing up to change the channel, and we've seen those TVs come down. But the flat screens, they all come with a tether strap, and you must tether it or secure it to the wall somehow because they're very top heavy. And then when that comes down, it can really injure a child.
That was surprising to me as you talked about products. The other thing is these little batteries you were talking about that seem to be in everything these
Yes.
days.
Yep, they're actually called button batteries.
Button batteries.
And you find them in key fobs, you find them in...
The things we push to open the lock
Right.
on our cars,
They
right?
Exactly.
get stuck in a child's intestines or going down there. You see, they stick together.
Right.
And they can be extremely dangerous. And not just deaths, but major kind of operations.
And they also come in these little toys that
Little
make the
toys.
little, they bounce, they
Yep.
make noise. We see them everywhere. When you're checking out at grocery stores, they'll have them there and the kids are, wanting them. Those,
Yes.
they can come out of those
Yes.
as well.
Even the singing books that we buy children.
that's right.
The
And the
singing
cards.
and now they even have musical balloons. So these are things that children can easily get their hands on. And as children are, they explore, they're taking things apart. And now there's a concern of the button. A little button battery, and if a child swallows it, as Ann mentioned, a lot of times they have to have their esophagus resectioned, and they may never be able to speak again.
Really?
Yes.
Now, I remember when I used to do stories on child safety in Palm Beach County, it was all about drownings. I mean, you never heard of TV tip-overs, batteries. Is that still even a
Drownings are
concern?
still a major, major concern. And you think that, oh, there's a big party and the parents are drinking, something like that. What the major problem is that the child is in the house and the doors are not locked to the outside, and the child opens the door and goes out and gets into the pool alone. So that is the major scenario for drowning. It's a very serious problem, and particularly in Palm Beach County. I think Florida has the highest number of drownings in the country. That's not a statistic we should be proud of.
Right.
And even with the mandated fences now around the pool, are you finding that's at all a deterrent?
Fences are fine. They're important and they're de rigueur. You must use them. But sneaking out through a door is what the trick is. The parent doesn't even realize, turn your back for a minute. You don't realize the child has sneaked out. And of course, sneaking into a pool, nothing is more luscious to a kid than water.
We actually want to create what's called multiple layers of protection.
Okay.
Correct.
So you put the fence, that's one layer.
That's the one that goes around the
Correct.
actual
That's
pool
right.
circumference.
But
So
you ought to
that's-
lock all your
Right,
doors.
lock your doors. Have a door alarm. So if the door opens, it chimes to alert a parent or a caregiver that the child went outside. There has to be more than one layer of protection when it comes to water because children are drawn to water. And almost every other home in Palm Beach County has a pool.
Well, really? I know that I had a pool and I had the fence and the door lock, but I think your point is well taken about we're heading to the holidays. It's the busy season for our county and the counties around us, and that means grandchildren, nieces and nephews come down, and maybe the person's not used to a smaller child in their home.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I think that's really important to kind of note. You might have to take many more precautions than you would normally take.
Let me talk for grandparents. That awareness is absolutely crucial, and the awareness of not letting your kids through your body to your bottles and the things in the kitchen, and even the thought of these e-cigarettes. We have just found out recently that they are in flavors the liquid that you put in the e-cigarettes, and they're flavored so that a child is attracted to them. And they need child-resistant caps.
Oh, my
Now
goodness.
that's something that has to be done by both the manufacturer and the government mandating that. But these can be dangerous.
And so
as
they
well.
could just be lying on the countertop.
Could be there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know the other topic we haven't talked on, I want to have a few minutes on that, is car seats. And you all are so good about holding trainings, helping parents. But I have to admit, I still drive about 45 minutes to work, and I see kids all the time not in a car seat.
Kelly told me that 50% of Floridians' children don't have car seats.
50%?
50%. That's unbelievable to me.
And they don't think they'll ever be in a crash. It's that belief that I'm just going to the store. I'm just
It's
dropping
okay
my
to strap them in for this short ride?
So if they're going on a long ride to Orlando or something, they may think they need a car seat then on those long trips.
Really?
But most crashes happen within 5 miles of the home and your daily activities.
And have they become, certainly since you and I, knew car seats, have they become easier to get in and out? Because I know some moms, they're struggling, and maybe it's just the clumsiness of trying to get it in. Haven't they become a lot easier? And then they pop into a stroller, and then they're the, little
They're
seated.
easier, but not easy.
Okay.
I'm again speaking for grandparents.
Okay.
You know, if you have your grandchildren and maybe the parent isn't around,
Right.
it's still not easy. It's possible, but it's not easy.
And that's why we run so many programs. We have 17 locations in Palm Beach County where you actually can get a car seat checked. So we definitely want to help all families understand how to put it in, and also we help provide them if they need it, because it's so important. Just putting a car seat in, the child's 74% safer in a crash.
74% safer.
And
That
don't forget a
alone
bike
should
helmet.
make you.
Don't
Oh, I'm
forget a
glad
bike
you brought
helmet.
that up, because another thing grandparents, even parents, I know when my kids, when they were younger, I would have to chase them down, don't forget the helmet. So if you're not used to that, that is, what are the statistics? They have to be amazing on saving a
My
life.
granddaughter Lily used to say to me, I don't want to wear a helmet. I said, fine, just don't go biking. I mean, there is absolutely no time a child goes biking without a helmet.
And is that, forgive my ignorance, is that mandated in Palm Beach County? What
Yes.
are the
It's actually the
laws?
law that a child has to have a bike helmet up to the age of 16, because a traumatic brain injury literally can change a child's life. They may be paralyzed for the rest of their life just from falling off a bike. It is very dangerous injuries that you receive. Head, neck, and spinal cord injuries never go away. So it is a law. It's just not really well enforced because it's hard to enforce.
I was going to say,
children.
how do you enforce, chase
How do
them
you
down
endorse
on
it? You
the
do it yourself.
driveway?
You say, look, the president says you have to wear a helmet. If you're going to go even on my driveway, even around the cul-de-sac, you must have a helmet. Don't want to do it? Forget biking.
And
I'm
we want
thinking your
parents to also.
grandchildren, Anne, are pretty good at the safety tips. I'm just guessing that they know the safety tips well. We should have you train other grandparents probably. But what, in your opinion, what will it take? Is it just life has gotten so, as we said at the start, busy that, and I have to admit, distractions are so much more than 20 years ago when I had my first child. You're texting. You're looking at Facebook. You got, the TV, the computer. Does that open up the window for more accidents to
It
happen?
could, but I think parents and grandparents are still very safety oriented and very concerned. And they may not do everything or know everything, but I think that is a major concern of parents and grandparents. And I think they